Good morning. Welcome to our 2015 Veterans Day ceremony. The members of the Honor Education Council are going to introduce and tell you about several of the veterans who work here at Augusta Prep. Following introductions, we will hear from our guest speaker, Colonel John Dewey, after which we invite you all to stand and sing for the entirety of the Armed Forces medley to show respect for our veterans and active duty troops. Finally, our chorus will perform Taps. I'll be followed by Ben Simmons.
My veteran is Petty Officer 3rd Class Anthony Williams. He served in the U.S. Navy during the First Persian Gulf War. He went on 3 tours, which lasted 3 to 6 months each. The first was in the Mediterranean Sea from December 1990 to July 1991. The second tour was from March to May of 1992, and he was stationed in the North Sea. The third tour was again in the Mediterranean from October 1992 to April 1993. He served on the USS Barbara, which supplied bombs for aircraft. Thank you for your service, Mr. Williams. I'll be followed by Isabel Hudson.
My veteran is Sergeant Larry Sanders. After growing up in Chicago, Illinois, he trained at Fort Gordon. He served in the Army for 15 years and was stationed in Augusta, Colorado, California, Germany 3 different times, and Turkey. In this time, he received 2 Army Commendation Medals, 3 Army Achievement Medals, 4 Good Conduct Medals, and a Meritorious Service Medal. He worked in telecommunications and tactical satellite, then became an instructor at Fort Gordon. He now works in the Prep Lower School. Thank you for your service, Sergeant Larry Sanders. That will be followed by Hope Gibbs.
My veteran is Sergeant Major Oliver Spratt. He joined the Army in 1973 and served until 2004. A quick math on that is 30 years and 3 months. He was deployed during Desert Shield and Desert Storm. His favorite place he served at was Germany, and his favorite memory is his first parachute jump. The final position he held was the S3 Operations Sergeant Major post over the training brigade at Fort Gordon. His most prestigious awards include the Legion of Merit, the Kuwait Liberation Medal, the Meritorious Service Award, the Army Accommodation Medal, the National Defense Medal, and the Bronze Star. Thank you for your service, Mr. Spratt. I will be followed by Allison Nesbitt.
My veteran is Captain Sarah Hunt. Captain Hunt attended Smith College on a 4-year ROTC scholarship, meaning that she studied and took ROTC classes and trained at the University of Massachusetts Amherst simultaneously. On to airborne school her junior year of college and assigned to work as an administrative officer S1 in the 902nd Military Intelligence Battalion at Fort Meade, Maryland. Moving to Boise, Idaho, Captain Hunt served as an operations officer in the Military Interest Processing Station. Finally finishing her 6 years in the United States Army, Hunt was an administrative officer S1 in the 10th Special Forces Group, and then a company commander for the replacement detachment at Fort Carson, Colorado. Ending her service, Captain Hunt joined the Augusta Prep family in 2009, and now enjoys teaching her pre-kindergarten class and spending time with her family. Thank you, Captain Hunt, for your service. I am followed by Julia Hatcher.
veteran is Sergeant Myron Hunt, also known to some as Coach Hunt. Coach Hunt joined the U.S. Army in 1992, and over the course of 8 years, he was stationed at Fort Bragg, Fort Richardson, and deployed to Haiti. During his years of service, Sergeant Hunt worked as the power generation equipment repairer. He attended the United States Army Airborne School in Fort Benning, Georgia, and also the German Airborne School at the Altenstadt Air Base in Germany. His awards include the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, 4th Award, the Good Conduct Medal, 2nd Award, the National Defense Service Medal, the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, the Humanitarian Service Medal, the Army Service Medal, the NCO Professional Development Medal, the Overseas Service Medal, and the Parachutist Badge. Thank you, Sergeant Myron Hunt, for your service in the United States. I will be followed by Charlie Richards.
My veteran is Cornelia Isaac. Ms. Isaac entered the ROTC program in her sophomore year in college. She was fully commissioned in 1993 and served in a variety of roles in the 513th Military Intelligence Brigade stationed at Fort Gordon. She left the Army after the birth of her son Nigel at the rank of captain. Thank you for your service. I will be followed by Jimmy St. Louis.
My veteran is Eric Miller. He joined the Navy in 1988 and served until 1992. He was a machinist and served in the USS Sims, a DDG-18, which was a guided missile destroyer, and was stationed at Charleston, South Carolina. He is a veteran of the first Gulf War, and went on a 6-month med cruise and crossed the Panama Canal along with reaching the equator. Please join me in honoring 3rd Class Petty Officer MM3 Eric Miller. I will be followed by Joseph Chamberlain.
My veteran is Colonel Michael John Guthrie. After being commissioned as second lieutenant out of West Point in June 1978, he was stationed here at Fort Gordon, then at Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi, Panmunjom in Korea, went to graduate school at Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. He was a faculty at West Point back in New York. He was then stationed at Fort Ord, California, Fort Leavenworth in Kansas, Naval Headquarters in Brussels, Belgium, Fort Hood in Texas, the Carlisle Barracks in Pennsylvania, and finally back to Fort Gordon. He commanded a company, a battalion, and a brigade, and culminated as the Deputy Commander and Assistant Commandant of the United States Army Signal Center right here at Fort Gordon. He was deployed to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and his awards consist of the Legion of Merit and the Bronze Star, as well as several others. He retired in 2004 as a full colonel after 30 years of service to our nation. Thank you for your service, Mr. Guthrie. I will be followed by hand givens.
Colonel Retired John K. Dewey was raised in the village of West Milton, Ohio. He is a distinguished military graduate from Wright State University Army ROTC and began his active duty military career at Fort Gordon, Georgia in the summer of 1985. He has a master's in electrical engineering from the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California, and a master's of strategic studies from the Air War College, Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. Colonel Dewey served in the U.S. Army for over 24 years with multiple deployments, including Desert Thunder and Desert Fox in Kuwait, and to Operation Stabilize in East Timor. He was assigned and present at the Pentagon on 9/11 as a member of the Joint Staff J6 Interoperability Division. He was a wartime commander deploying and commanding the 40th Signal Battalion for Operation Iraqi Freedom 1. Colonel Dewey's highest awards include the Legion of Merit and the Bronze Star Medal. Colonel Dewey is currently the CEO of Janus Research Group Incorporated here in Augusta and has been married for 30 years. He is also the proud father of 4 children. Please welcome Colonel John Dewey to the stage.
Mr. Eustace, Mr. Chambers, Colonel Guthrie, thanks for having me here today on this historic day. Happy Veterans Day, especially to the veterans in the audience, and thank you for your service to our great nation. To the teachers and coaches that are in the room, thank you for supporting the future of our country and for the time and talent that you bestow in educating our children and helping us raise them. I'm very proud to be here today. This is a wonderful place of learning, and you should be very proud of what you've created. I'm here because this day is important, and for those, especially for those of us who have served, we must take some time to promote our traditions, take opportunities to talk about service, and to promote and pause out of our daily routine to pay tribute. I've given a few speeches here in the CSRA, but this is my first time with the majority of the audience is young people. When you start to write a speech, you have to look at the audience and say, how can I reach them? What is my language going to be like, and how do I talk to them? And I'll tell you, my youngest children would probably say, I can't relate at all. I'll do my best to deliver a message that includes some facts about Veterans Day, a little bit of history, but don't turn off when that starts, some happenings that may be of interest to you, and that service is honorable, celebrated in our country, and something that makes our nation great. A nation of character is where men and women of different races, religions, social status can come together and work toward a common purpose. A nation of purpose is where men and women who have other options in their lives volunteer to serve our country and its interests here and abroad. The United States of America, the greatest nation on earth, bears an awesome responsibility. And it is realized in those men and women of strong character and conviction who fight and defend our American values and our American way of life. We are very blessed to be Americans. I've been all around the world, and I've seen the other side. To live in a country that stands up for what we believe is right, to have the great portion of freedom provided by those that came before us and those that are serving today, it's an awesome place that we stand. I joined the Army because I believed then, back in 1985, what I know now is true, and that is that freedom isn't free. And they offered me a ROTC scholarship. I had no intention of making the Army a career. Matter of fact, I thought I would get some experience from my undergrad degree and then go get a real job. But what I discovered was that the Army values, and where I found myself, was among a bunch of patriotic people who every day came to work wanting to do the right thing and do something that was good, and it was a great fit for me. The rest, as they say, is history. I talk about the Army a lot, mostly because I spent the majority of my adult life in the Army, and those experiences and my war stories come honest. My Army experience is a large part of who I am. I am proud to be a veteran, and I enjoy the support this great nation provides to our armed forces and our veterans. Our country has changed in some of those ways, and is much, much better now. There is so much to be gained from military service, but the greatest is lifetime friends. So I had to stand back and look and think, how did I make my lifetime friends? I look back at high school. Some of them were made in high school. Those bonds were forged as we grew up together. But another part of it was 4 years of my lifetime when I was in high school was 25% of my life. Most of my lifetime friends, though, come from the Army, deployed under not so comfortable conditions in places that you wouldn't visit on vacation, where complaints are uncommon, and duty, honor, and courage are the theme of the day. Veterans have an immediate bond of sharing something accomplished that matters. By the way, in old people's time, a much smaller fraction than a quarter of your lifetime is 4 years. So that's why I believe that time goes faster as you get older. Today is Veterans Day. It's a national holiday. Every November 11th, we celebrate Veterans Day. And our nation justifiably honors all that our veterans have done. Veterans Day is also celebrated all around the world. Britain, France, Australia, and Canada also commemorate veterans of World Wars I and II near November 11th. Canada has a Remembrance Day, while Britain has Remembrance Sunday. In Europe, Britain, and the Commonwealth countries, it's common to observe 2 minutes of silence at the 11th hour on the 11th day of November. In the United States, an official wreath-laying ceremony is held each Veterans Day at the Tomb of the Unknowns in Arlington National Cemetery, while other places in the country there are parades and other kinds of celebrations like the program you have here today. Veterans Day should not be confused with Memorial Day. Remember always those that have came before, who have sacrificed to preserve our freedoms and our American way of life. Adlai Stevenson, to a speech to the American Legion, spoke, "Many have offered their lives for their country know that patriotism is not the fear of something, it is the love of something." Memorial Day honors American service members who died in service to their country or as a result of the injuries incurred while in battle. While Veterans Day pays tribute to all Americans, veterans living or dead, but especially gives thanks to the living veterans who served their country honorably during war and peacetime. Webster's Dictionary defines veteran as an old soldier of long service or a former member of the armed forces. Veteran means much more to us. Veterans are extraordinary patriots who raise their right hand in service to their country and have gained the experience and wisdom and devoted years of service to our great nation, leading by example. Veterans Day was not always called Veterans Day. Originally, it was Armistice Day, named that by Woodrow Wilson on November 11, 1919, and marks the anniversary of the signing of the armistice for World War I. Major hostilities of World War I were formally ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, with the German signing of the armistice. 35 years later, President Eisenhower signed a law on Monday, May 26, 1954, extending the now all-encompassing meaning of the day, remembrance for all veterans. Congress amended this act the same year by replacing armistice with veterans, and it has been Veterans Day since. Another note in that same time frame is very interesting to think about how things change and why. June 14, 1954, President Eisenhower signed a bill to include the words "under God" in our Pledge of Allegiance. He said these words, "under God," will remind Americans that despite our great physical strength, we must remain humble. They will help us to keep constantly in our minds and hearts the spiritual and moral principles which alone give dignity to man, and upon which our way of life is founded. A couple years later, after pushing to have "under God" put into the Pledge of Allegiance, he also signed a bill or making the words "In God We Trust" the national motto. So you may not have known that, but in God we trust is our nation's official motto. And he mandated at that time that that phrase be printed on paper currency. And it had been on coins since the Civil War. So it was an extension of our coins to our paper money. Military service is a calling. Our troops joining the armed forces today raise their right hand while our nation is at war and deployed all around the world, and they know full well what that means. We admire their courage, respect their devotion to duty, and applaud their commitment to the defense of our nation and for ringing the bell of freedom. Father Dennis Edward O'Brien of the U.S. Marine Corps wrote, and I want to tell you a little bit about what the word soldier. Soldier is used to talk about all troops, not just Army soldiers. And this is a Marine who wrote this. Said, "It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given the freedom of press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, whose coffin is draped by the flag, and who allows the protester to burn the flag. I am proud to be one of your veterans and share the title with your family and friends who served and who are serving, with the faculty and staff that were introduced here today as part of this program. Thank you again to our veterans in the audience." And I'm going to close with a quote from the Gospel, John chapter 15:13. "Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." God bless the families and those who gave their lives defending our way of life. God bless our servicemen and women who stand ever vigilant today securing our freedoms. God bless our teachers and coaches who are helping educate and raise our children. God bless those in this audience, the young people, who will join our armed forces in the future. And God bless the United States of America and all she stands for. Have a great Veterans Day and make it memorable.
Thank you to all who made this assembly possible. Please join us in standing and singing the Armed Forces Medley. Following this, our chorus will perform task, after which faculty and seniors are attending. Please take time today to thank a veteran for their service. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Please take time to thank a veteran for their service. And always remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country.
Army,
Thank you all for coming. Middle school, you're dismissed first.